Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Lawrence. I'm at Shop 11, and this is my OLRM 225 presentation. Now, while trying to figure out what I wanted to do as far as this presentation, I couldn't really figure anything out. I didn't know what I was good at, what I was an expert in, so I went to ask my wife. My wife said I'm an expert in annoying her. Now, while I'd love to do an entire presentation on annoying my wife, I just don't have that much time. But when she said that, I realized there is something that I could do this presentation on, and it also annoys my wife, and that's PC building. And I've been building PCs since I was about 16 years old. I'm 36 now, so I have about 20 years experience in building PCs. The reason I build the PCs myself is they're more affordable. I'm able to customize them, and I can upgrade them. And those are some of the things I'm going to talk about in this presentation, as well as kind of give a basic overview of the components needed and kind of where they go. So basics of PC building. So like I said before, they're affordable. You can go to a Best Buy or a Walmart and spend thousands of dollars, a couple $1,000s, $1,000, whatever. Now, who wants to do that? I mean, if you got the money, go for it. I don't. So I end up piecing out my parts. And what I mean by that is go online, figure out what I want to buy, what I need, and I'll go buy it. Then I'll wait a couple weeks and I'll go buy something else. And I'll continue that process until I have everything I need. I'm sure it takes a little bit longer, but I'm also not dropping a huge lump sum of money. On that same note, there are a lot of internet websites that do combo deals where you can buy a stick of RAM and a CPU and a motherboard, let's say, and they'll usually bulk that together, and you'll get a pretty solid price instead of piecing them out separately. Just depends where you're looking, what deals they got going on. They also have, your Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals as well. Another thing is when manufacturers come out with new hardware, a lot of the older stuff usually goes down in price, so that's typically a good time to upgrade. Customization. Customization is solely up to you. It kind of depends on what you want your PC to do. Do you want it for gaming? Do you need a PC for video encoding, or do you just need a computer just to get online and Word and whatnot? It's all up to you. But in customization, that's where a lot of your PC parts are going to differ. Now, I have a few things here with me. I don't have everything because most of it's in my computer. I got some old stuff here. First thing is the phone. First thing is the CPU. This is where, shut up phone. This is where all your computations, all your calculations are going to come from. I don't know how it does it, but it does it, and it does it awesome. This is a stick of RAM. This is your random access memory. And then I have motherboard. Well, this is essentially where everything's going to plug into. Your CPU, your RAM, your power, your heatsink, all your fan plugins. These are for your hard drives, optical drives, graphics card. I mean, you name it. You can set up a capture card, wireless, whatever you need. But it's pretty straightforward. Everything has its own spot. It only goes in a certain way. So you can see on that, there's little tiny gold prongs. This is your CPU. This is where your CPU goes. Just goes in, shut her down, make sure it's in the right way. I have bent these little pins before, and they're kind of a pain to straighten out. It's possible, but it's a pain. These slots right here, that's where your RAM goes. Again, it only goes in one way. It's pretty simple. You got little slots there. Push it in, it'll click. These will come down. What else? This is where your power supply goes. And when you're doing your research on these, you got to make sure that everything is going to work together. There's some chipsets. So this is an AMD chipset. It only works, or AMD CPU, excuse me. It only works with motherboards that have the AMD chipset that are compatible. So you can't put an Intel on this, won't work. Vice versa, you can't put an AMD in an Intel. Speaking of that, there are two major manufacturers of the CPU, which I just stated are Intel and AMD. I'm personally a fan of AMD. A little bit cheaper. They are comparable to Intel speed. I don't care what anyone else says. And they run cooler, in my opinion, than Intel's. And heat and computers don't go hand in hand. Along that, so we covered CPU, motherboard, and RAM. And you got your hard drives. In this particular one, hard drives will plug in to your SATA cables, your serial ATA cables. Nowadays, they have what's called SSD hard drives, which is a solid state hard drive. Those things are awesome. They'll go just like that, turn on, no problem. Then you have your HDD, your hard disk drives, which are the old standards. Inside the actual drive, there's, depending on the drive, there's one or two or maybe three more, I don't know. Little discs that spin around, and it magnetically stores the information and retrieves it from those disks. So they have to spin up in order for you to get information. Solid state drives just come right on. Other thing you need are optical drives, which I guess you don't really need them, but they're useful in case you've got you buy this motherboard and it comes with a driver. Usually it's on a CD, so you'll need a CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. If you want to watch Blu-rays on your computer, Blu-ray drivers. Blu-ray is also an optical drive. What else? Case. You need a case to put it in, right? Those aren't very expensive. You just need to get a big enough case or whatever you're buying, because a lot of these motherboards vary in size. So again, you want to do your research on size you need, what's going to fit. These are your PCIs slots. Typically, your graphics card will go in here, somewhere on the motherboard, and then these can these can house other pieces of hardware. So things like Wi-Fi. If you want to run Wi-Fi, you plug it in here. So those are some of your components, and kind of where they go. Like I said, everything's labeled pretty well. The manufacturer will also include a instruction manual, very detailed, shows you where everything goes, how to set it up. It's really not that difficult. Upgrading these things, that's another reason why I build my own. This particular motherboard that I just showed you and the CPU, the motherboard was able to house the new, at the time, the one that hadn't even come out yet, newest chipset. So when that came out, I was able to put it in, didn't have to buy a whole new motherboard. So you can upgrade them. You can upgrade them faster, you can upgrade them cheaper than buying a whole new PC later down the road. So that's pretty much it. So we went over affordability. It's a lot cheaper. You can customize it however you want, whatever your needs are, and you can upgrade them if you so desire. You don't have to. I'm going to leave you with this. Let me move my screen over. So all parts should go together without forcing. You must remember that the parts you were reassembling were disassembled by you. Therefore, if you can't get them together again, there must be a reason. By all means, do not use a hammer. And this is from the IBM manual in 1925. So thank you. If you have any questions, if you want anything more detailed, feel free to send me a message through Canvas or on Facebook. Thanks. Have a good day.